Shall we begin? Let's begin now.
Happy New Year's, everybody. Welcome back to the Frankie Francisco podcast. I hope everybody had a safe and enjoyous New Year. On today's episode, we have our first guest. She is a 22-year-old author and poet from South Carolina. She has been writing for almost 10 years. Her short story, The Story I Needed, was published as a children's book in December of 2018. Her debut self-published poetry collection, Dandelion Queen, was released December of 2020. So I'd like to introduce everybody to my guest. Her name is Palak Trivedi. How we doing, Palak?
Doing great. Thank you for having me. And
Yeah,
Happy
for
New Year.
sure. So, how was your New Year's?
It was great. I spent it with one other friend. It was a chill night in. We watched The Great Gatsby, getting ready for the 20s again, you know.
So you watched the Leo
Yes,
version
the Leo
of the Great
one.
Gatsby?
Yep.
Okay,
It was so
okay.
good. And yeah, just had a chill night in, drank some gin and tonics, and that was it.
Awesome. So we have you in here today because we want to talk about your book.
Yes,
So for all the folks that don't know you, please explain to them who you are,
for sure.
what your passion is when it comes to writing.
For sure. In general, my passion for writing is like everywhere. So I started writing about 10 years ago. It started just as a way of releasing emotions, talking about things that writing about things that I didn't know how to talk about, essentially. So, and from there, it kind of grew into something I was even more passionate in. It grew from being just nonfiction poetry to fiction and short stories and stuff like that. And so over the years, I curated like a collection of poetry that had to do with, you know, my childhood and heartbreak and just the way I used to view the world and things like that. And so I started noticing like a common thread amongst a lot of them. And so that's kind of how Dandelion Queen started to get traction there.
So are you targeting any specific group of people with this particular book, or is it just for the masses in general?
I would love to say that it's for the masses in general because I think it talks about identities that maybe others don't know about or have not experienced, and I think it's really important to like show other people what it's like to be Indian American, what it's like to be a woman, what it's like to be a granddaughter and a daughter, and all these other identities that I associate myself with. So I would say it's for everybody, but I think it definitely has more to do with people who are of the Indian American identity or are women that grew up in that.
Well, that's deep. That's a beautiful thing that you want to,
Thank you.
have that out there for people. But when it comes to the book, the emotions that you put on the page, because I read some of the pages that were in there, and it's a lot of strong emotions that you have.
Yeah.
Where does that come from for you? Where are you reaching for that? Did you have experiences that made you feel the way you feel to be able to put that on pen and paper?
100%. It all came from moments of vulnerability, moments where I felt like I can't keep this in anymore. Like I need to find a way to come to terms with what I'm feeling and understand what it really is that I'm feeling. So it all comes from just these moments of like, I can't stand to just think about this anymore. I need to get it out.
So as grown up as an Indian American, so right from the jump, we're behind the eight ball. See, I'm Puerto Rican, I'm Hispanic.
Right.
So we're both minorities, but you're a minority and you're a woman.
Yes.
So in Indian culture, it's a lot of the same similarities when it comes to Spanish culture. You know, the wife is supposed to be,
Yep.
submissive to the husband and, supposed to take care of the kids. But you are an American. You're an Indian, but you're an Indian American. So when you went back to India, and I'm sure you've gone back to India, how did they treat you? Was there a bit of a difference on the culture, on how they saw you? Because with me, like when I go to Puerto Rico, they look down on me because I wasn't born on the island.
Right.
So it's a bit of a topsy-turvy when I go over there. You know, oh, they look at me, oh, you Puerto Rican, but you're not really Puerto Rican.
Yeah. Absolutely. I can definitely relate to that. It's like, what's the term? Diaspora of like people who are of a certain identity but weren't born and raised where that identity is. So I definitely had felt that for sure because even like with the language barrier, I speak Hindi and I speak Gujarati, which is like our mother tongue there. But I don't speak it like a native. So that was definitely something my cousins would harp on me about. I was like,
So
like,
it's the American version of it. Then, basically.
it's a struggle being any kind of hyphenated identity because you feel like you don't fully fit in both places. You know what I mean? So like as an American, sometimes you feel too Indian, and as an Indian, you feel sometimes too American. But in terms of being in India, I think, not only is it just culturally, it's a bit patriarchal, but also I'm a new generation, I think, and that has a lot to do with me and my generation being more liberal and a little bit more progressive in a lot of those things. So they definitely don't take you seriously because of that. They definitely think that they are in the right sometimes when it comes to, like you need to get married at this time, you need to be this way or that way. So it was a little bit of a struggle going there and seeing that kind of thing. But at the same time, I see that a lot here too. So I think it's about like who you hang out with and who you value.
So you pulled some of your experiences for that and put it into the book as well, correct?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
So a lot of that emotion you have, you put on the page. Sometimes it can be a struggle to get that on pen and paper. So I've worked on several books.
Right.
I've gotten 4 or 5 chapters in.
Gotcha.
I like to say I have what we call adult ADHD. So my mind races all the time. So I'll start a project and won't finish it. So people don't understand how extremely difficult it is to start a book and finish it. You have to do the first draft. Then you have to go back in and get it edited. Then you have to go back in and do the second draft. Go back in and get it edited. And the fact that you were able to get this book self-published and the book is doing well, which is, congratulations to you.
Thank you so much.
Success, all the success in the world to you. This is a point of what we're doing with the show. We want to showcase people who are multi-talented like you. It's just not one aspect of your life. You want to do multiple things with yourself.
Absolutely.
You're also in school, am I correct?
Yes, I'm currently in a gap year, just trying to push my writing out. But yeah, I am in school.
So what are you majoring in?
So far, English with a minor in screenwriting.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
so eventually you want to try to get into the movie business.
I would love that. I think it would be so cool to write something and then see it like visually on a screen. I'm a visual learner. That's how I like.
I'm the same way. So when I start writing my books, I look at things as if it was a movie.
Yeah, exactly.
So, but it's hard to visualize that stuff and then put it on paper and it looks the same.
Exactly. Oh my God, you get it. It's such a struggle, and that's why I struggle with starting projects sometimes because I see it clearly in my head and I'm like, I don't know if I can translate it exactly the right way into writing sometimes, So I get that.
So with this book that you came out with, how long did it take you to write the book? How long did it take you to publish the book? To get everything you needed to get it out there so it can be published on? Because you're not with a company. You did this all by yourself.
Yes.
You put the book out on Amazon. So, and you're actually shipping the books out yourself right now, right?
Yes, I am. So I'll start from the beginning. It's basically taken me 10 years to get this book ready because it's a culmination of so much writing that I did as a kid and as a young adult, all coming together. It's been rewritten so many times. It started and then failed and been thrown away so many times. The title has changed like too many times to count. So it's been a very long process, but I think that closer to, I would say 2018, when that first story got published was when I realized, okay, maybe I can do this. That was the first win. That was the first validating thing that happened where I was like, okay, so maybe I can actually publish something. And so from then I started to write a little bit more seriously and a little bit more focused. And that's when I started to get the idea of what I wanted this book to be. And then I think it was 2019 when I definitively knew what direction I wanted to take it in. And during the pandemic in 2020 when I really finished all the content that I wanted.
So one benefit for you was the pandemic because it kept you indoors.
Oh, wow.
So it forced you to pretty much, get on track and get the book finished.
Absolutely. The pandemic was great and also terrible in so many ways. On one hand, it definitely forced me to sit down and write every single day because what else am I supposed to do? Right. On the other hand, I think writing really comes from inspiration, and it's really hard to be inspired when you're in your house and not able to go out.
I tell you what, it's been an issue for like that me as well because I've been home the whole week from a job,
right?
But me being home actually gave me the opportunity to get home, get all this stuff going that I wanted to do before the end of the year.
Right.
And the result of that is me having you here right now doing this
Yeah.
interview, which is a beautiful thing.
Absolutely.
So how supportive were your parents when it came to this? Because like I said, in Indian culture, they want you to get your education. They want you to get a good paying job, become a doctor or engineer.
Yeah.
So how supportive were your mother and father when it came to you producing this book?
For sure. Let me be careful. They will listen to this. I would say that they are a lot more supportive than I thought they would be.
Okay.
I mean, at first there was pushback. Obviously, I mean, being a writer is a very, it's a risky thing to do. So they were very concerned, and for the right reasons. They wanted to make sure I was taking on something that was steady and that could support me. But once I really convinced them that, you know what, let me just try. Let me just see how far I can take it. That's when things really started to change. And my mom, she's amazing. At any opportunity she gets, she's like, well, I know this person. They can help you with this. That's how we met.
Yep.
She's like, well, I can do this or I can do that. And she's like, once you get rich, I can be your financial advisor. I'm like, all right, that sounds good.
But that's awesome. Having supporting parents makes
yeah.
things even easier for you. Me, I'm 41 years old, and my mother is all for what I'm doing right now.
That's amazing.
Which is great because, I still work, 40-hour job, but I want to, at some point, try to make this a full-time thing for me. And it, like everything else, it takes time. So it took you 10 years to get to this point where you are.
Yeah.
With this particular book that you're working on. So where can they find this book?
Yeah, so it's on my website. It's www.palaktrivedi.com. It should be under my shop page if you go on there. So it'll be there. It is published on Amazon, but Amazon does like to take cuts.
Oh, do they?
So, yeah.
So what was the process for people who don't know that want to be self-published authors, that want to be able to publish this book but don't have necessarily the funds that it would take? Let's say if you wanted to go to a publisher that actually takes the book and publish it for you.
Yeah.
What does it take? What are some of the steps that you would need to be able to do this for some of our listeners that actually want to go out there and take that next step to be a published author themselves?
Yeah, absolutely. So there's two ways to do this. There's traditional publishing, there's self-publishing. So like you just said, you could submit your manuscript to traditional publishers, and based on what they say, based on the editing, like you get if you get accepted and everything, you get like a certain amount of money up front, and then they publish it, and then if it does well, then you get the rest of the money, stuff like that. It's pretty difficult to get published that way from my experience personally. So that's why I chose the avenue of self-publishing, because I get a lot more control over what I do, and it's not like I'm waiting to be accepted or anything like that. So with self-publishing, it's definitely a good way to get a leg in, which is why I decided to do that first.
So are you going to just strictly leave this book in English, or are you going to publish this in Hindi as well, in other languages so people can read as well?
So it's going to stay in English. I don't write in Hindi or Gujarati, but I use certain words throughout the book that have to do with, words that we use in our common terminology.
Okay.
Things that you can, through context clues, figure out. Like when I say ba, that means grandmother, and you can tell through context clues that that's what I mean. So I call her ba. So stuff like that. I thought it was important to include the culture in there. But I don't think it would be possible because I don't know how exactly it would translate. Yes, exactly. And I rely heavily on rhyme for my poetry, especially in this book. So yeah, it would be a little difficult to kind of maneuver that, I think.
Okay, so are you, with this book being successful as it is right now, how many copies already have you sold so far?
I've sold 30.
30? That's
30 so far.
For being a self-published author, that's pretty good, pretty fast.
Thank you, yeah.
You're shipping these out. So what happens when you run out of books? You have to place an order for them to republish them?
Yes. So every time I run out, I just place a new order. As soon as they come in, I package them up and send them out immediately.
So you're pretty much handling all that yourself. You're packaging, taking orders in. So you basically you're running your own business without realizing you're running your own business.
Yes. Yeah, that's true. And
so there's a lot that comes with that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's a lot of work because you're balancing work, you're balancing school, you're balancing your writing. So you have one piece of work done. Now, with this, I know it took you a long time to get this book together. Are you working on something new already? Is there something in the back of your mind or pages that you've written down for the new book?
100%. Yes. I have always like you said earlier, like I'm the type of person who will start something and then kind of leave it alone for a while. So I have a couple of projects in the making. Like I mentioned earlier, I want to go into things other than poetry as well. So I have a sci-fi short story that I'm working on currently that hopefully will be a comic. And then after that, I have a adult picture book that I'm working on. I'm working on a novel in the meantime, and then the second book in this poetry collection.
Oh, so this collection here, how many books do you plan on having for it?
3.
Oh, there's going to be 3 books.
3 is what I'm thinking.
Okay.
Yes, yeah.
That's awesome. That's awesome. All right, Palak. So, what has been the biggest challenge that you found so far being a self-publisher?
Definitely promoting myself. It is such a weird thing for me, being like going out to people and saying like, yeah, this is my book. Like you should buy it. You know, like I'm just not. That's not my personality type. But my mom has been like really on me. She's like, like you're basically starting a business, and when you're a business person, that's just what you have to do. And your work will speak for itself. You just got to be the one to push it out there. So that's probably one of the bigger things that I.
So what I found so far is that the people who are going to hate on you the most are the people who look just like you. So yes, and it's true because people want to see you do well, but they don't want to see you do better than they do.
So true, so true.
So they want you to be successful to a point, but then after that, they're like, hey, hey, good job, but they say they're going to support you, but they don't support you. So I think that's the biggest issue when promoting yourself. Like me right now, I'm on IG, I'm on Facebook,
right,
Twitter. A lot of these sites just to get myself out there.
Right.
And people don't realize people are not going to be your friends. You know what I mean?
Yep.
They say they are, but they're not. They say they're going to support you, but they don't go out and buy your book.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They say, "Hey, good job on the book."
Yeah.
But they don't want to, dish out a couple bucks to support you when it comes to that.
Right.
So, but for you, I think the biggest thing for you is you just need to get out there. You need to. You have your website, which is fantastic.
Yeah.
But I think you need to get out there with some of these pages on IG. Get your own IG page for the book.
For sure.
You know what I mean? Insert some stuff in there. You know
Definitely,
what I mean?
yeah.
Just to get people attention when it comes to that. Target the Indian Americans that are here.
For sure.
As
Yeah.
well. I mean, I think that's a big thing. We have a lot of them. We have a lot of them here in
Yeah.
Rock Hill. There's a lot of Indian Americans here in Rock Hill right
Definitely.
now. But I think promoting's always been the toughest thing for you and for me.
Yeah.
When you're trying to start your own business and you're trying to get your feet off the ground with everything.
Yeah.
So right now, besides the website, where are you promoting the book at?
Mostly just social media. My Instagram is like my number one place. That's where I started putting poetry in the first place. So I have like a main Instagram, and then I have my like poetry writing Instagram. So on those mostly is where I'm trying to push things out for sure. And I think that's mostly what I've been working on.
So what is the Instagram page for the book?
So it's not specifically for the book, but my writing page is at Palak T_. So it's like at PALAKT_.
So all my writers and all my future writers, go ahead and follow, so you can support, and she'll do the same for folks that are trying to get seen and heard.
Definitely.
So have you tried to mingle with any other writers to try to promote yourself and that person, like a cross promotion type deal?
Absolutely. So I love working with other writers and other creatives. So wherever I can do collaboration, I'm all in. So especially through that poetry Instagram, I've been able to find so many people who are writers, who are editors. I have a great friend who reached out to me through there and is actually starting her own Instagram where she uplifts other writers and shows them places that they can submit work and stuff like that. So it's been a really, really awesome experience because you can go so far by yourself, but I think really becoming better is about collaborating with other people and elevating yourself that way. So I do everything I can to find other writers that I can work with.
So what's the hardest part? What's the hardest part about the writing? Like what makes it difficult for a young person out there that's trying to write? And you're young, you're 22, but you have 10 years already of experience and you're 22 years old, which is amazing to me that you have this passion in you for so long. So if you have a young writer out there that's 12, 14 years old, 15, trying to find a direction as to where they want to go, what advice would you give them?
Right. So I would say write it all out. Like, don't worry about putting it anywhere or if it's good or not. You just got to write it down. That's, I feel like, the hardest thing, because you get all in your head about it. Is it good? Do people actually want to read this? It doesn't matter. Write it for yourself first, and then you can come back to it. If you don't like it at first, never ever throw anything away. That's like the number one rule of writing. Never throw anything away, because even if you don't like it in the moment, you're going to come back like a year or two later and be like, oh, that was a good seed of an idea. Maybe I can do something from there.
Yeah, just like all the chapter books that I have sitting in the corner.
Yeah, exactly. Don't throw them away. You're going to come back to it. It's going to be great.
At some point. Originally, I wanted to. So with this podcast, originally we were going to be a digital magazine.
Gotcha.
That's how we were going to handle it at first. We were just going to do the same thing we're doing now, but we were going to do it on paper.
Right.
But I figure if you want to reach a broader audience, podcast is the way to go.
For sure.
To get heard and, in some cases get seen, because eventually the more we do this, we'll do video. We'll do it live. We'll have video live on the podcast.
Right.
So it's just going to take a little bit of time to build that up.
Definitely.
So your book, this has been, phenomenal for you.
Yeah.
Is it for me? This is therapy.
Yeah.
So me doing this podcast is therapy for me. It helps me focus. It helps me get everything out. So writing for you, is that your therapy?
100%. Yes. Literally, I think in general, it's important for people to write, whether it's journaling, whether it's writing in a specific medium. Writing takes all of the like mess that's inside your head that you can't untangle, and puts it out on paper so you can physically figure out what's going on in your mind.
So when do you specifically write? So you have to be in a certain mood? Like some people, they have to be depressed to write. Like me, I can write poetry, but my mind has to be messed up. It's sad to say that.
Yeah.
But I have to be depressed. I have to be in a place where, my mind is dark for me to be able to put that kind of emotion on paper like that.
100%.
So for you, how do you focus that energy? When is it the best time for you to write? How do you feel? What are the emotions going through that make you, that inspire you to put all that on pen and paper?
Definitely. I would agree with you. It's in moments of just extreme emotion, whether it's happiness or whether it's sadness or depression, whatever it is, or anger even. It's in those moments of just extreme emotion where it really comes out, because it's hard to be vulnerable at all times. So in those moments where it's kind of coming through the cracks in your armor, that's when I feel like is like the best time to write poetry, is especially in terms of just like writing in general. I love the morning time for writing. I love like a little hot cup of coffee, and just like good vibes around me. I feel like that's like the best. That's like the best time for me to write. But no, I would definitely agree with you in that like emotion is like you really want to use that.
So a lot of people out there that's listening, so use your emotion. If it's something that, you feel down in your heart, it's something that you feel, in your head that you need to get it out, get it out. So there's no specific time and no specific place. You can be sitting on a city bus and be able to just take cliff notes, be able to write stuff down. So is that what you do besides the morning? Like, let's say you have a thought. Let's say you're out getting coffee in the morning, or you're going to, Burger King and gonna go get a Whopper.
Yeah.
And an idea pops in your head. Do you right away pull out your phone and, take a memo of what your idea is to write down?
100%. My notes app is so full. It's like my most used app on my phone. I literally, any thought that comes to my head, no matter how small, I just throw it in there, because like I said, you will come back to it. And when you have a fresh mind, you'll think of something based off of that. So that, or I always have a notebook in my book bag or in my purse or whatever, because inspiration can strike at any time. So a lot of the poems in this book specifically were written like right before class started, or on the bus on the way to school. Like, you never know when it's going to strike. So I think it's really important to have something on hand to like get the idea down, and then afterwards you can go back and edit or fix it. So
how many copies do you want to sell before you set up like a reading, like where you can come in and you can sit, have a reading of your book? Like one of these coffee shops or one of these places where you can, I don't know, in the writer's circle, in the circles that you're running with writing, do they have things like that where you can set up a reading with other people? They read inserts from their books. Is there anything like that out there? So not that I know of. I actually did do like a poetry reading on Instagram Live right before it came out, just as a way to promote it and kind of talk about what it's about, so people would be a little bit more interested in it.
I definitely want to do, because of the pandemic, I definitely want to do that again over Instagram Live, because I feel like that's like the best way. It reaches so many different people. You don't have to come out. You can literally just open the app and you're there. So that's like the main thing that I worked on. And then also, there are a lot of local bookstores and things like that are looking to promote and sell local writers and local books and things like that. So I think after I get back to my hometown and, kind of figure out which bookstores are willing to do that, I think that if enough copies sell there, then I might be able to do it at one of those places.
So I hated Instagram.
Okay.
I wanted nothing to do with Instagram. My wife is actually the one that said, hey, you need to go on Instagram.
Yeah.
You need to be able to go on Instagram and plug what you have for the page.
Yeah.
And I wanted nothing to do with it because to me, I thought it was just all, regurgitated TikTok videos that they put on there. But the power of Instagram is insane. To me, it's more powerful than Facebook, and Facebook owns Instagram.
Yeah,
so
definitely.
More people go on there, you'll get more views of people on there, people like it, and you can reach more people through Instagram, to me, than you can Facebook.
Absolutely.
Because you get them from all walks of life. TikTok is all over the place.
Exactly. Yep.
So if you go live and there's enough people on your feed, you know what I mean, you're getting the recognition. You can collab with other people on there as well. People can like your page without following you, but it still gets your page attention.
Absolutely.
So I've been harnessing, IG. The tough part is the whole promotion thing.
Yeah.
You have to go on there and you have to add new content always.
Always. Yep.
You have to keep up, because if you fall behind on that,
people will forget.
People forget you.
Yep.
You know what I mean? That's the toughest part, because we're in a culture now where we're a microwave generation.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Everybody wants it now.
Short attention span.
So you have to be,
on it.
You have to be on it. So, but when it comes to podcasts, it's a little bit different. People will sit back and they'll listen to it on the drive home.
Yeah.
Instagram, you got to put them videos out, 5-second videos.
Yeah, it can't be too long.
10-second videos. Same thing with YouTube. Like YouTube, I have a YouTube channel as well for the podcast.
Gotcha.
But that's a tough platform right now.
Yeah.
Unless you're an early YouTuber, when YouTube first started and you built that up, it's kind of hard to get views on that. But I think Instagram is a good place, especially for the book. You have a lot of people that's authors that are in that community on IG as well. So besides IG, what other social platforms do you use?
I like Twitter as well. Twitter's a cool place, I think. I think with any social media, there's like good and bads to it.
Yeah.
So it could be a little much sometimes, but like you said, I think that it's one of the most powerful tools we have right now, especially for small businesses and people who are trying to promote things. So I think Instagram and Twitter are my most used for sure.
So have you had any reviews on the book yet on Amazon yet? Has anybody reviewed the book for you?
Not on Amazon. I believe that somebody left a review on my website.
Okay.
But so far, like only recently did we get those books shipped out.
Gotcha.
So I'm still waiting on people to actually get them and then read through them and then get their feedback on it. So
well, I hope that it's all positive.
I hope so too.
That's what we want. But reality is, you're going to find somebody that has something to say.
Oh, for sure.
There's always going to be somebody that's going to have something to say. Somebody's going to feel some type of way about the book.
Yeah.
Or, people get offended too easily. You know what I mean? The work you're doing is the work from your heart.
Absolutely.
And some people just don't care. You know what I mean?
No.
So I think a lot of the times people have to be able to take that criticism and keep moving. And some folks, I don't think they can handle that too well. But you seem like, hey, you know what the deal is already.
Yes.
You're from that, millennial generation right now where it's, people get emotional.
Yeah.
But you seem like you can handle yourself when it comes to that. You don't let anybody get in your way.
No,
just keep moving forward.
Absolutely.
Push past the critics. Keep doing what you're doing. Be successful with everything that you're doing.
For sure.
It has been a pleasure having you on the show. Again,
thank you.
Her name is Palak Trivedi. She is a self-published author. Her book, you can find it on
my website.
On her website. It is called Dandelion Queen. It is a poetry book. It is the first book in the collection of 3. So look out for the other 2 books coming soon. Palak, thank you very much. It's been a pleasure having you here.
Thank you.
You're welcome back anytime on the show.
I appreciate it.
When the new book comes out, let me know. Like I said, you can find her bio. We'll post some pictures, her bio on the website at franklyfrancisco.com. We'll also have a picture of the book on there as well. We'll have some pictures of her and her bio. Thank you again, And folks, you have a good day, and we will see you on the next episode.
Thank you.